Hey, what's going on, my friends? Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Victor, and today I'm going to share with you 5 more things I think you should know about this powerful, forward-moving, and highly expansive, profound new moon we have here on August 30th, 2019. It's an excellent time to commit to a new, very expansive and fulfilling a path or direction. I would bet most of you remember what it was like when you first started to feel that passion and excitement for spirituality. And this can manifest in different ways for different people, of course. But do you remember how it felt when you started dipping into some of these older books or watching certain YouTube videos or reading blog posts that just resonated so deeply? There's that feeling of realizing there's so much more than you ever thought was part of existence, part of yourself. And it's such a expansive, exciting, joyful feeling. And this is sort of the vibe I'm picking up on, but more so in the direction of the new direction of your life. That same realization that there's such an expanded version of reality that you now could start making your way towards and therefore experience a new career, just a new, even beyond that, a new chapter, a new book, a new direction that is going to be so much more aligned with your true preferences than you could have ever even fathomed. That's like the pop, the energy right now. However, with that said, that's a profound thing to experience, right? Is it not? So if you feel like it's common to go through periods of, where you have the side effects of such a degree of transformation, where you might feel in a temporary little funk for no reason, where you're just feeling down, feeling tired, feeling mentally kind of like, spent, like there's that void, that like melancholy, like this is very depressing and boring, and I feel very agitated. And what Victor's saying is the opposite of what I'm feeling. It's normal to go through temporary periods of that on the road in this new, when we go through such powerful shifts. So what I'm saying is true, but if you feel down right now, that's okay, that's normal, and that's absolutely part of it. And if you don't believe me, ask yourself. Your intuition, I would suspect, for most of you, will confirm what I just said. So what I'll do now, my friend, is go ahead and get into the video where I'll share with you 5 more specific themes that'll allow you to really dig into this new rhythm and this new energy so that you can get the absolute most out of it. But before I get into the video, let me just say a heartfelt welcome to all the newcomers visiting my channel. Many people find me through these energy updates. If you're new, just so you know, I have a free guided meditation that I made myself to help my subscribers learn how to align with their higher self consciously. We're always aligned. This meditation, this guided experience will reveal to you that inherent, always present connection. And when you're connected and know it, you can get the downloads, the awesome ideas. Okay, so it's free. You can check it out down below if you like at the top of the description box. With that said, I will now get into the video. Number 1, I wrote down finally listening to spirit. It's okay if you don't always listen to your intuition. Most people I know don't, including myself. But I'm going to share with you a story that I think will really help inspire you to listen to the guidance you've already been getting, probably more loudly than even usual. Okay, a long time ago, before I got onto YouTube, or more so when I was in the process of doing so, I started to get these very clear yet intimidating nudges of guidance, one could say, where I was actually inspired, intuitively guided to stop working, to quit my job. This was hard. I had a gym business. I closed it down on a whim, on a leap of faith. And that I felt deserved some kind of immediate reward because it was so difficult for me to do, so challenging to just have that blind faith. Right after that, the next thing I got was another nudge to quit the very last little part of my financial income. I used to grow medical marijuana. Okay, and I use these 2 sources of income to support my 3 children, my wife, my dog, my cat, my house, everything. Okay, so when this came to be, I was like, are you kidding me? Higher self, God, spirit guides, this is ludicrous. I have a family to support. Why would you ask me to stop earning a living? Okay, but I knew it was the next step. I had a sense that if I was to do this, it would really give way and open up to a brand new path that I knew I wanted to be on. I had dreams and I knew this had to go, but now, really? I don't know. So I battled with myself. There were times I would wake up in the middle of the night with this awful, like basketball-sized pit in my stomach. It was a knowing that I was resisting my path. I was preventing myself from going forward out of fear. So in this state, sometimes I'd mosey downstairs where my grow room was, and I would turn the lights off. In a sense, what that does is it kills the process. It like kills the plants within a very short span of time. And I would feel an instant relief. I would say, you know what? I knew it all along. That was the right move. And I'd go back upstairs, and I'd wake up the next morning, and I'd come to my senses and say, what the hell have you done? Victor, that was so stupid. I'd rush downstairs and I'd try to salvage whatever I messed up. Well, finally, after 3 or 4, maybe 5 times of repeating this ridiculous cycle, I woke up one night with that same pit, and it was so undeniable. Victor, this is the next step. Contrary to what your mind thinks, this is the key to all of your dreams. And I knew it in my heart. Not logically, but finally I went downstairs and I chopped down my plants with these big scissors, so there was no going back. And of course, the next day I woke up and I panicked, but there was nothing I could do. And guess what happened? Right after that, I started getting these ideas of how. The how became clear too, how I could manifest my dreams, which were to be on YouTube, living across the country, waking up and having a free lifestyle. All these ideas started flooding into my being. Opportunities came out of left field, and my life has blossomed in a way I could have never possibly fathomed. Okay, this is the potential when you, my friend, choose to listen to the spirit, the inner calling, the intuition, your instincts. It's an amazing time to listen to it, and I know it's not always easy, but you know it as well as I do. Now is the time. Number 2, I normally don't come out and say these things so bluntly, but what came to me, what I feel guided to share with you right now is 2 words: career shift. This doesn't mean you have to quit your job. A lot of people hear the story I just shared and say, oh my goodness, that sounds so crazy. I don't want to have to do that. You don't. But the world is really ready, and so are you, as far as in terms of how far you've come in your spiritual growth. You're ready. The world is ready for a brand new version of you to take form and start expressing itself. This is not going to be a future thing. This is going to be like you're ready now to be who you came to be. It might be very different than what you're already doing. It might not. It really just all depends. But there's going to be a deeper feeling of a calling and more of like an awareness where you start to really discover who you came to be in this life and what you came to do. And fortunately, who you are turning into and what you came to do is going to be like your highest excitement, your highest passion, your highest preference. It's not going to be a compromise. It's going to be like, oh my goodness, this is so awesome. But oftentimes this does involve shifting careers. Sometimes a career can take too much of your energy. It doesn't mean you have to quit. It just means that you might have to modify. You really need to spare some of your creative juices to get this new direction off the ground for yourself. So if you have to make some shifts, don't just do it because I said so. You listen to your inner being, and if it's telling you to make a shift, then it's okay to make that shift, and you're ready for it, and the world will support you. And more importantly, more realistically, you will discover that you can support yourself. Number 3, I wrote down higher learning. An acceleration in you gaining wisdom, knowledge, and experience that will be necessary and essential and perfectly fitting for this new person you came to be. Sometimes life doesn't unfold as smoothly as we would prefer, and it can make us think, what am I doing wrong? Man, why were things going so well last week, and here I am. But those experiences are like iron sharpens iron. It's like that. They're valuable. They're part of your forward progress, part of all the things you want in life. And people going through an awakening have this knack of attracting a lot of intense learning lessons in a very short span of time. And it will temporarily throw the seeker off and make them question everything. Like, wow, why? What is all this supposed to mean? But then you realize that you get through it. You're here right now. You've obviously gotten through everything else in your life, right? Okay, you get through it. And not only do you get through it, a lot of people, when they go through hardship, it breaks them, okay? And they don't recover. You're the opposite. You have this wiring, this predisposition to take hardship, to take challenges and use it to strengthen and grow yourself, to gain wisdom and insight and spiritual connectedness and depth. And that's what you need to be an expression of just a magnificent, masterful, awesome, loving, high conscious human being that you all came to be. But it's not always fun in the moment. This last weekend, as an example, this last week or so, I was doing a retreat in Sedona, Arizona. Well, the first couple retreats I did there were just magical, just purely effortless. It was like a divine unfoldment. And I just kind of sat back and watched it unfold. This one took work. I was sick. You can still probably tell I am a bit nasally right now, but for like the first couple of days of the retreat, I was legitimately sick. I was exhausted. I had this huge, I couldn't breathe. I teach breath work and stuff during my retreats. I couldn't even freaking breathe out my nose. And it was like, wow, I really had to be really careful about how to utilize my energy because a lot of it gets taken out of me at these retreats. And it was not easy. It was not easy. And the first, it even took people a little bit longer than I like to really crack open and start going through their process. And I believe there was like a mirror of my lower energy. Anyway, it was not easy. This didn't come easy to me. But by the end of the retreat, it was magic, as it always is. But I had to work for it. I had to earn it. But now I have that notch on my belt for next time, that extra air of confidence. Okay, so that's just an example. Okay, you might have something else going on in your life. That's an opportunity to have that same effect. And if that's the case, then you'll naturally use it without me even needing to suggest you do. Number 4 is more of a long one. Releasing deep-rooted negative beliefs with the help of synchronicity. That's a very strange sentence to utter, and yet I believe you know what I mean, okay? You might notice during this new moon energy that your ability to manifest your issues, also your strengths and your light, just everything you are within your consciousness will be mirroring physically more frequently. In the form of, situations, but also just synchronicity. And all know what that means. But you can use this to your advantage to release very, very deeply rooted negative belief patterns that have no business being with you, have probably been impacting you in an unideal way your entire life. And now the energy is so high, where you are so conscious that you'll be able to see this in a clear enough way to where you can make some very profound releases in a fairly effortless way. As a personal example, to really make this seem much more clear to you if you didn't understand what I said. So a few days ago when I got back from Sedona, what was coming up for me is something I've been dealing with for a long time. That's sort of this deep fear that something will happen with my children. It's something that I believe my parents had, I know they had, and their grandparents had, and I can kind of see why they would have had those concerns. But for me, even though I'm conscious of it, it's still there. And it was manifesting a little bit physically, meaning I was sitting on the couch one night with my daughter and my wife. We were chilling, watching The Office. And my son, Sebastian, he's 3. He sometimes comes downstairs. He sneaks down to chill with us at night. And I heard him slip down the stairs a little bit. It wasn't like that big of a deal, but I heard the bang. And when that happened, my wife knew it was not a big deal. Not that she doesn't care, but she knew it was a step and he was fine. But my heart exploded out of my chest. And the way I experienced that was my worst nightmare has come to pass, and I shot up. I shot up out of my the couch, and we have hardwood floor, and I have these socks, and I was like slipping. I was like almost like out of a cartoon, running, trying to get there. I had to use the wall to get leverage, and I shot over there, and he was like walking over like it was not a big deal. But even though that was not a big deal, I didn't like the fact that I was manifesting those energies, and even in a somewhat physical way, because I love my kids, obviously. Anyway, so that was a synchronicity that I used. It made me aware that this is coming up for you now. So I was more like looking for opportunities to gain insight. And then just this morning, kind of bringing this around full circle, the whole point of the story, I was like writing down my intention on my little notepad to release this. And like 2 minutes later, I heard this lyric in a song that I was listening to at the time by Tool. There's a song called Push It. And there's this one point where it's a climactic point of the song where this awesome lead singer, Maynard, he goes, I'm not going to do it, but it was like, there's no love in fear. And he screams it. It's so like penetrating. And it made me realize there's no love in fear. My parents feared for my well-being, but that's not love. Me being paranoid about my children falling, it's not love. It's not. So hearing that, it reminded me of what I actually believe underneath the distorted belief that I picked up along my journey here. And that was enough to push out this nonsensical sort of paranoia I've been carrying around ever since I've had children. And it was a very profound, super this awesome release and epiphany, just chilling at the gym. It was like at the gym as all happened, just because of the synchronicity is so clear and so frequent now. So my point is, if you got some old stuff coming up and manifesting a little bit, good. That's good. Use the synchronicity. Use the clues for the breakthrough, for the insight. It's going to happen as part of it. And hopefully me just sharing with you this is an opportunity that you can all have is enough to help you really have a very similar profound release that I did. Number 5 I wrote down, a brand new path, and I put in quotations, super exciting explanation point. I should have put 3 of those explanation points because it is super exciting and it is a very brand new path and it might catch you off guard. It might not be what you think. And I'll give kind of a cool example. So I had this retreat in Sedona, as you all know, and this one awesome woman, Noelle, brought her husband, Anthony. Anthony doesn't really watch any of my videos. He's not really a fan. He was coming kind of for her, in a sense. He's like, okay, my wife wants to go see this YouTube guy. Cool, I'll go. So he didn't really know what to think of it. And when he came, we started talking, and he told me about his plans. He loves fishing, and he wants to be, move, I think to Georgia and live around this Appalachian Trail and fish all the time and this and that. That's what he thought he wanted. Okay, and after a couple of days of going through this intense transformation where Anthony was kind of like just a microcosm and an example of what's possible for all of us. By the end of the retreat, he had this brand new dream that just kind of fell into his lap through lots of synchronicity, which to him was like for the first time. So he had this real mind-blowing, like, oh my God, I didn't even know I wanted this other thing, or I didn't even know if it was possible, and yet now I know it is possible. Now I know I do want it, and it resonates so deeply. I'm so excited. Okay? He wants to now go to Montana and be like this charter fisherman and start a business, and it's like a very much so expanded version of his highest reality he could experience. Okay, and there's excitement, there's a resonance, there's like, yeah, that's me. That's so me. How could I have not seen this? And not only do you have the feeling, but almost like the synchronicity, the universe is saying, yes, that is you. Yes, that is you. Go that way, and you're going to totally love it as you expect. So all the things I mentioned, the releases, okay? The feeling, like, as I mentioned at the beginning, going through periods of like funks and the void and depression and melancholy, all these are symptoms that are fleeting. All of it is part of it. And all of it is made possible when you do the first thing I said, listen to spirit. You don't have to know how it's all going to unfold. You're not going to. You're not going to be able to. There's no need to even attempt it. It makes no sense, but easily will your higher self, easily will your spirit, and it will guide you in the perfect sequencing of things that have to go down for you to get that way, and it'll be obvious. But it'll be a feeling. It'll be a feeling of a resonance and compatibility with a particular idea, thought, or action. Okay, so if you learn to dig into your intuitive guidance, you can manifest an amazing life, my friend. Just truly a profound life. Okay, that's about all I have to share. Now, there is one more thing I do want to share. I don't want to mess up my 5 things and add a 6th thing and throw everybody off, but I do feel inspired to share this. Now, what I said is totally powerful, right? And I bet you're feeling this already in your own life. But what you might also notice is that not everybody deals with the energies and the potential and the higher frequencies as effectively and productively as you. You might know, a lot of us know people who are much more entrenched in like the 3D consciousness, we'll say, and they might be having a rougher time. And you might be seeing them go through some things that are somewhat, challenging for them. And it can be very difficult as an onlooker to witness this. But remember, this is part of the game. Remember, this is what you came to do. And you can have a profound impact on all the different people in your life that aren't even aware that there's an awakening going on by simply embodying loving kindness and holding space for them. Okay? You can literally, you're that powerful where you can just choose to like muster up some love energy within you and like direct it towards people and just hold that space, hold that loving, compassionate frequency. And you'll be doing so much good and offering so much value to your loved ones and the people who are not even aware there's a shift going on but find themselves tumbling around through it. Catch my drift, okay? So with that said, it's normal if you're seeing some of that, but it's okay. It's just like the job we all came to play. So we all will do it well when the time comes. Loving kindness. All right, that's it, my friends. I'm going to bounce. Thank you all so much for listening and watching. It's an honor, again, to be here sharing with you. I wish you all nothing but the best. Have an amazing time. There's so much potential, and I'm so excited for you. Talk to you all next time. Namaste.